I found a mysterious old notebook in my deceased grandfather's house, and I opened a page with my name written on it. From that day on, my life has never been the same. I'm a guy in my early 20s. A few weeks ago, I decided to visit my grandfather's house. He passed away a while back. The house is old and has been abandoned since his death, but I wanted to go back and see the old books he loved. While I was checking out the library, I noticed a small locked drawer. I had some old keys with me, so I tried opening it, and thankfully it worked. Inside the drawer, I found an old leather notebook. Really strange looking, with no title or even a name. My curiosity made me open it. And believe me, it was the worst decision I've ever made. The first page had weird handwriting, and I couldn't really understand it. But what caught my attention was what was written on the next page. Elias. Do not turn the next page. If you do, your life will change forever. And that's when I froze. Because my name is Elias, and I didn't know if someone was playing a prank or what was going on. But curiosity killed me, and I turned the page. I found a clearly drawn map, a map of the house itself. I followed it, and it led me to a small docker behind the library, one I never knew existed. I opened the door and went down into a dark basement. There were old boxes inside, and one of them was open. Inside, it was a picture of a child who looked just like me. On the back of the photo, it said, Elias, experiment number 7. Ever since then, I haven't been okay. Every night, I have nightmares, and I hear a voice calling me from the basement. We're not done yet. Experiment number 8 is left. Do you think my grandfather was conducting weird experiments? Or am I starting to lose my mind? I still have the notebook with me, and every time I open it, I find new words written inside. Words I didn't write. And I don't know who's writing. Them! What do you think I should do? Should I turn the next page, or should I leave the notebook and run? I finally decided to turn the next page, despite the warning. It was written in clear handwriting. Elias, at exactly midnight, go to the basement and take the object inside the red box. Do not be late. When the time came, I went down to the basement and opened the red box. Inside was a strange metal piece covered in cryptic symbols. The moment I touched it, a powerful jolt surged through my hand, and suddenly, I heard a faint voice whisper, "You've finally arrived." I bolted upstairs in panic. But when I looked in the mirror, my reflection wasn't right. My eyes had turned red and my face looked altered, like it wasn't even me anymore. Ever since then, something unnatural has been happening. Whispers echo through the house. Shadows move on their own, and the notebook now writes messages to me on its own. The experiment isn't over. You are part of it now. Beware the one watching you. The nightmares repeat every night. I feel something, pulling me further away from the real world. I don't know how to escape this, and I can't bring myself to abandon the notebook. It holds secrets I can't even begin to understand. Was my grandfather really part of some dark project? Or have I stepped into a game I was never meant to play? The next day, I decided to go back to the basement to make sense of everything. I couldn't take the endless confusion and nightmares anymore. When I went down, I found the notebook. Open to a new page where it read, "The next phase of the experiment begins now. If you wish to save yourself, you must face the full truth." Suddenly, I heard a faint whisper calling my name. Elias. Elias. I followed the voice and, behind an old bookshelf, discovered a hidden door. I opened it and stepped inside. There was a small, dark room, and in its center stood a strange machine, covered in screens, tubes, and wires connected to things I couldn't comprehend. In the corner of the room, I found a log labeled Experiments on Time and Consciousness, Project Elias. I started reading and realized my grandfather wasn't just an ordinary man. He was a scientist working on a secret project, attempting to manipulate time and memory through human experiments. And experiment number 7 was me. A past I never knew existed until now. The project had failed and was shut down years ago, but it seems the experiment never truly ended. A part of me remained disconnected from real time. At that moment, I felt a cold presence behind me. I turned around quickly, but no one was there. The world around me turned hazy, and I began hearing distorted voices, as if time itself was collapsing around me. Am I trapped in another dimension? Can I even escape? The fog grew thicker around me as the whispers morphed into distant screams. I tried to breathe deeply and focus, but everything around me began shifting rapidly. Suddenly, one of the machine's screens flickered to life, displaying an old recording of my grandfather explaining something. Elias, if you're seeing this, it means the experiment has spiraled out of control. You must find the key to stop it, or part of you will remain trapped between worlds. I frantically searched the machine and discovered a small button labeled the key. When I pressed it, a deep voice boomed, "Are you prepared to face the full truth?" Before I could respond, the screen switched to a video showing my childhood self laughing and playing. But then the image distorted, revealing a grotesque, twisted face that hissed, "You don't belong to this timeline, Elias. You're the result of a failed experiment. Now you must choose your fate." A searing pain erupted in my chest as I began losing consciousness. I awoke sprawled on the basement floor, the notebook lying closed before me. Though I seemed to have returned to my world, I knew something within me had changed forever. I can't tell if the experiment is truly over, or if this is just the beginning of something new. When I woke up in the basement, I tried to stand and think clearly, but my mind remained clouded in fog. The notebook lay closed before me until it suddenly moved on its own, flipping open to a fresh page. Written in cryptic script were the words, "Elias, the experiment isn't over. You are now the guardian between worlds. Your choice: return to your world and forget everything but lose a part of yourself forever, or stay here, protect the secret from falling into the wrong hands, and live between realms." I stood frozen before this decision, my heart pounding. The weight of responsibility pressed on me, yet an irrepressible curiosity tugged harder. I made my choice, the one that would change everything. No longer just an experiment's victim, I had become part of a story far greater than myself. Can you guess what I chose? I chose to stay here between worlds as the keeper of the secret my grandfather began long ago. Today I want to share what happened to me after that decision. At first it was terrifying. I felt trapped between timelines, sometimes seeing fragments of the past, other times sensing echoes of the future. Every attempt to return to my real world met an invisible barrier. But with time, I learned to navigate this strange liminal space. I developed the ability to witness events from different eras, to hear voices from other realities trying to communicate with me. Yet not everything was easy. There are entities out there, hungry for these secrets, and I must stop them from breaking through. Each day brings new challenges, and I've come to realize my grandfather's story was just the beginning. Experiment number 7 was merely the first step in a journey without end. Months passed as I lived between worlds, learning, fighting. Then one day, I felt the time had come to end the experiment. I returned to the notebook and read its final page. Written in my grandfather's hand, "Elias, the journey ends. Now choose peace or power." Peace means returning to your life, forgetting everything. Power means staying here, but at a terrible cost. Once again, I stood before this choice. But this time, I knew exactly what I wanted. I pressed the button on the machine I'd found in the basement months ago, the one labeled Terminate Experiment. In an instant, a surge of immense energy rushed through me as the worlds around me began dissolving. I awoke later in my bed. The notebook was gone. The house stood ordinary, as if nothing had ever happened, yet when I looked in the mirror, I noticed a faint smile on my face, and my eyes. They were those same eyes that had once burned red. I knew part of me would remain tethered to the other. Realms. But in the end, I was free. And so concluded my journey, my grandfather's story, and the mystery of that cursed notebook. If you enjoyed this tale, let me know if you'd like me to share new stories, or perhaps something of a different nature.